everybody, and welcome to the As You Are podcast. My name is Leslie Vandergens. I'm the founder of Enso Coaching and Consulting, and I'm here with two of our amazing coaches, Adam and Libby.
Yeah.
Adam and Libby.
And we have a very special guest today. It's kind of two guests, but really our special guest.
The special one.
Specialist guest.
Yes.
The
is
specialist.
Miss Sarah Fleming Walker.
That's right.
Who is an amazing leader in the arts community here in Austin and has partnered with Adam, who is maybe not a guest host. I don't
Could be hybrid today.
Yes, whatever.
He's all the
We're on
things
the couch.
today.
We're on the couch.
On the couch, yeah, to talk about, Entr'acte, which is an amazing organization that these two amazing humans created for Austin. So we'll get to dig into that a little bit. And we'll also talk about other stuff that this amazing woman is involved in here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that sound like fun?
Yes, so much fun.
I have the most important question to start off.
Oh
with. This
my
is something I've
gosh.
always wanted to ask.
Oh.
Sarah Fleming Walker. SFW. It looks like it should be on like your airport, like your luggage, like an
Totally.
airport call sign.
Yeah,
Is there an airport? Is there an airport that's SFW? Because
Like
it
San
seems
Francisco,
Oh.
Washington.
yeah, exactly.
There's
San
gotta be
Francisco,
one.
Washington.
Yes.
I just always think that I'm like SFW.
Yeah,
It just seems like it should be an airport
Those
call.
are power initials.
They
It
are.
might be.
They are.
Well,
Yeah.
I've started signing my emails that way because it's
Mhm.
easier.
Yeah.
But also the real, rational reason I do that is I work with so many Sarahs.
There is
Oh,
that.
that's
I have
true.
to
There's so many
differentiate
Sarahs.
myself.
That's so true.
Man, there are so many Sarahs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially in my immediate vicinity.
Yeah.
And then not to mention the lovely singers and actresses that I work with that are also named Sarah. So it's a mess of Sarahs.
There's so many Sarahs.
It's a power name.
That's
It
that's the Lost Sondheim song.
Yes.
A mess of Sarahs.
Yes.
Oh my God.
A multitude of
Totally.
Amy's
I'm
and a
starting-
mess of Sarahs.
Yeah.
starting to speak in Sondheimese.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
love it. I love it. Okay, well, so let's start with just talking a little bit about Entr'acte. What is Entr'acte? Can we start there
Yeah.
for the listeners who don't know? And if you don't know,
And if you don't know,
You're gonna.
You're gonna know.
well, just to start in a technical manner, Entr'acte is a partnership between Adam and myself, and we are a sponsored project of the Austin Creative Alliance. So we're not a standalone nonprofit, but we have a designation under ACA. And we started with a concert season in a jazz club environment, and we've kind of morphed into a concert season at KMFA.
Mhm.
And we've added additional programming. So now we also do a cabaret called Barline that is also under the Entr'acte heading. And what we are, I guess, is a musical theater specifically performing arts organization.
Yeah, with the mission, one of the things that I think Sarah and I both realize in our lives is that there's only so much time. And so that we want to really devote our time to missional things.
Yeah.
And so one of the problems and challenges that we saw in Austin was that there were a lot of folks, two sitting across from me, that maybe used to be able to be really involved, and give all of their lives and all of their time to theater pursuits, and then, became professionals in another industry and had a family and.
Yeah.
And so, in the spirit of yes and that we have in the theater, we said there has to be some way that we can create something really high quality, because high quality was, I know, really important to both of us.
Mhm.
Something really high quality in terms of a musical theater offering that also wouldn't necessarily have as long of a rehearsal period, as long of a tech period, and as long of a run as maybe a full production.
Mhm.
So we rehearse all of our shows, as both of you know, in 2 weeks. And then we do 2 performances on that final Sunday. And those are our concert musicals. And then we also do, as Sarah mentioned, this Barline Cabaret, which is modeled after a cabaret that's been going on sort of forever in New York City at Birdland that's called Cast Party. Ours is takes a different twist with it, but basically what we do is we have 5 singers that we've invited for each of these cabarets. They come up to the stage, they bring their binder with them, and they have 3 songs Sarah hosts and I play, and then there's a bass player and a drummer, and we have no idea what songs. Sarah knows what songs they're going to bring because they email her secretly ahead of time.
Good.
So that there's no like duplication.
Just in case like 3 people want to do
Yes.
the same song or whatever.
Exactly. And that has happened. And so Sarah staves that off and then we go at it right there. But that, and to me, is still very much within the theme of time commitment and what you can invest time-wise. I have to pat us on the back because I think we have been successful in achieving our mission and in continuing to do that. Just from the feedback from our audiences, and we won an Austin Critics Table Award, special citation,
special one
this year, and it's in its inaugural Austin Critics. It's not called the Austin Critics Table anymore.
It's just the critics table, isn't it? Just
I don't think
Austin
table
Critics?
is in it anymore.
Austin Critics.
Yes, that's right.
I was like,
That's
they
right.
took something off
That's
of
right.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's I think that our mission is high quality. Our mission is bringing something to Austin that it hasn't had. Maybe it's had it at some point in its life, but it hasn't had it in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
And also it engages really high quality, very, very talented people who may still be very highly engaged on the day-to-day in the theater community, or may have more of a parallel tangential relationship sort of with the theater community.
I love that.
And it was born in a practice room kind of in the pandemic when I was like, well, I have to use this time for something. And I was needing an upgrade in my singing technique, and I was wanting to work with a coach. And I had just enough of an introduction to Adam to think, okay, I think he's the person, but I'll try, we'll see. And we just realized kind of how similar we think about things, and our values and the things that we nerd out about were very similar. And we just cooked this up. And I think it was, for me personally, born of being a little bit of, if not a late bloomer, then just like a slow bloomer. I've just been a nice slow, not sure where I'm headed, professionally speaking. I'm one of these people who probably could have had 5 different career paths, just very different.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to settle into, well, what am I going to really give my time to now that my kids they need me less, right? So that, and then also the pandemic itself being so restrictive, specifically to live musicians and performers of live music, that really was heartbreaking for me to imagine, singing is dangerous now.
Right. Yeah.
This is where we're headed. So that's kind of the mindset I was in. And then finding someone that I gelled with and who I worked really well with, and starting that creative partnership journey, because we've done other things too, just really was healing and gratifying. And then once the ball started rolling, it became a very yes and situation where it was like, oh, I've never done this before, but okay, or whatever. And then here we are, and in our 4th season, about to be in our 4th season.
Yeah,
It's
it
amazing.
just does not seem possible.
I know.
When we were looking at venues initially, like that, that seems like it was, a couple months ago. And
Yeah,
now you're
I know,
like,
it
wait,
does.
3 years ago, 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem possible.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes when things are meant to be, or when they work well, it's not that we haven't had obstacles. We have, but we've just been able to keep rolling.
Yeah. Well, when you talk about the fact that you guys are values aligned, or that you found the right partner when you're kind of thinking about this, or, thinking similarly, what are some of the things that come up that allowed you guys to say, okay, this is what a good partnership looks like, or this is what,
We're both very strongly rooted in certain interpersonal values that I think is our jumping off point, and that made it at least feel good for me. And then the environment we were looking to create in our collaboration with artists, I think we were very compatible there. And then yes, the give and take between what are we doing and how are we going to get there has always just felt almost effortless. And I don't know how many times, like, I'll text Adam something and he'll be like, I was just thinking that, or vice versa. So like we just have a very similar simpatico, I guess, that makes it all the more joyful and less stressful. I don't think artistic partnerships are always that way, right? So the fact that we can be so direct and honest, but healthy and grounded has just really been valuable in my life in general.
And
That's
mine.
one way.
I also think that, Sarah, I remember very specifically the moment, we were working on Losing My Mind
Yes.
from Follies. And that was something that Sarah had brought in and we were working on it. And, I said, gosh, I have just always wanted to do a concert version of Follies. And we were like, well, what would it take to do that? And then somehow in a blur,
Then
it became a season of 3 concerts.
Fast forward.
Which was,
And here we are.
amazing. And I really don't remember that part of the story. But I knew, and I'm not just saying this because Sarah's sitting here, I knew that because Sarah's work ethic and like dedication and discipline to being such a truly like high level artist, just from working in that coaching environment. Plus, we had also worked on Indecent together at Austin Playhouse, which I think I had the first like week of rehearsals because I was choreographing that show, and we got 3 rehearsals in, and then the pandemic hit and we had to shut down. So I knew Sarah for like 3 days. Prior to the pandemic. But in any case, I knew that what I was also looking for was a continuance of the pursuit of artistic excellence. And for me, that was going to be very important in anything else I also took on. And so I knew that from Sarah coming in and just being like, on it and like new
I was pretty motivated.
All of those things. Like I was like, this is someone who is not just going to say like, yeah, I want something that's really excellent too.
This will be great.
But yeah, exactly. Because, that's out there.
Oh, 100%.
But we,
follow through.
But I was like, oh, this is the this. I don't even have to like think anymore.
She's going to get it
after,
done.
I was ready. Yes,
yeah.
I was ready.
Because we had probably coached for at least 6 months, maybe more before that.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was a huge part of it, and Sarah was in Follies. I mean, I was like, but you also have to be in it, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was huge for me, and I also agree with everything you also said.
What is how do you define artistic excellence?
Stole my question.
Oh, well, you go ask it. Ask it.
How do you define artistic excellence?
That was very discovered.
Thank
It
you.
was really good.
Thank
That
you.
was good.
So, do you want me to start? Because I have thoughts.
Go for it.
Okay. I guess for me, it is it's a combination of things, obviously, but working at a high level towards realizing what's in the script and the score, telling that story, while folding in information about era and style and music theater history. For me, process-wise, for the shows, the concerts, but in general, for me, the pursuit of artistic excellence anyway is the conversation and the depth to which you're willing to have that conversation. So that's how I approach it. So it's a conversation either between myself and Adam, or myself and the material, or myself and the artist I'm working with. And it's like being willing to have that conversation and show up for it.
Yeah.
And work through whatever is standing in the way of that. That's what popped into my head.
Yeah, I think
It's hard to measure it.
it is.
And I'm not trying to I think for me, it's the pursuit of. I don't feel like I've arrived there. And I think that's part of it. The mindset, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, here's a text.
Yeah.
Because I was going to talk about measuring or looking back and evaluating. I think for me, a big part of it is listening to what people have to say, both people who are working with you as artists and people who are patrons.
Yeah.
And then taking that information and iterating again for the next project, and then taking that information and iterating again for the next project. Because I think, as we all know, theater is a very time-intensive, resource-intensive pursuit that oftentimes we don't stop to look back and evaluate. I mean, we all get those surveys in the email after, if 10% of people fill them out, that's really great. But in any case, I think, you do have to be attentive actively to listening to what people, even if they're not giving you like direct feedback, people often are giving you nuanced experience when they comment after a production or a project. And I think it's being active about listening, internalizing, vetting, and then iterating and implementing again. And the other thing for me that's a little more specific to this endeavor is I think, and I know Sarah does too, that, a theatrical experience has to be an event.
Yeah.
There is an excellent artistic experience has to be an event. There is obviously everything that has gone into what is happening on stage and what we're hearing, but there's a whole context around that too. So I think artistic excellence takes into things like how easy is it to access this venue? How does it feel to go to the venue? I know for Sarah, it's very important that we feel very welcoming. Sarah's at the box office, like coordinate, you don't see that in a lot of theater companies. I think that that's part of the whole event as well. And then I think representation is really important. That's another component. I think artistic excellence cannot be represented by like one cultural background, one demographic,
type.
one voice type, one anything.
Yeah.
And I think that that's another value that we very, very much align on in our other projects too, not just Entr'acte, but I think is making sure that we again pursue as stalwartly as we can the diversity and the spectrum of voices and voices, little v and big V, that we hope to represent in our work.
Yes, and I think there's something to be said too about the experience, not just for the patrons, but for anyone that we partner with and collaborate with. So yeah, you're right. Measuring is important, and feedback and folding in improvements to our process and the relationships that we have. All of that folds in.
Yeah.
100%.
No, what would you say that as in the years that Entr'acte has been formed, what has been the biggest challenge that you guys have had?
What has been the biggest challenge? Who's going to listen to the podcast? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah. We like it raw and real.
Backstage.
Yeah, that's right.
Come as you are.
Say it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, I think just keeping it broad, I think for us, the biggest challenge for me, I'll speak for myself, has been the uniqueness of what Entr'acte is.
Yeah.
And that it is hard to define to whoever I'm trying to define it to. So proposing it to become a sponsored project was difficult because we hadn't even started at that point. Having a relationship with Actors Equity and trying to get special permissions because we're not a typical event that they have in there. I mean, I would like to hope that they're going to form a category. It's like this is a thing that people can do and pay union performers for, but we're not a full production, and so like just that defining us and staying true to our values without boxing ourselves in. And we've, the shifts in venue or the shifts in any other thing is all related to that, all comes down to that. And so, and then for me personally, stepping into a more executive-y type position that I don't feel good. I don't feel like I'm good at, but I'm willing to do the best I can. And that's just where I operate from. And then I have a lot of help.
Yeah.
A lot of help like from Adam, but also my husband, Skip, is very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. You?
I anticipate that a challenge that might come up.
Ooh.
And I think this is like, this is one of those
this.
ones that's like you're grateful for, like kind of the best kind of challenge, is that now we have established, I think, a solid brand. I think that people who know who we are, like know who we are.
Yeah.
And, I also would give props to Dave, my business partner
100%.
at Resolution
So
Creative
many
for that.
props.
Because he is a big part of that branding as well. But I think that one thing that might become a challenge is now that we've established like a solid template for how our seasons run, what is going to keep us fresh and new in coming seasons, because, you know, I don't think that, at least right now, we think that there's a need to add any more, you know, programming per se, in terms of more performances. But I think that, you know, one thing that we'll both, I'm sure, be vigilant about is, as we continue through selecting our seasons, already next year, I think, is probably going to be our most eclectic season stylistically in terms of music. We announced that, by the way,
I was about to say.
on
January
December
1st?
31st.
Oh, okay, I thought so.
January 1st,
Close.
December
New Year's
31st,
Eve.
New Year's Eve. At ATX Musicals is the handle. ATX Musicals, that's where we announced the season. But in any case, I think that the forward thinking and being a step ahead of saying, okay, when does, you know, 3 concert performances and 3 barline events, when does something needs to mix up, and how do we actively listen to people? And maybe it won't. Maybe people will be like, hey, this hit the stride.
Going.
I anticipate something on average every 2 months. That's awesome. And maybe the musicals that we choose are enough of a differentiating factor for people. But that's something that I think is going to be interesting to think about.
Yeah.
And we've already talked about and folding in other types of elements.
Yes.
You know, Adam and I both have a education component to our professional life as well. And so it's like, how are we supporting all these values? And
Yeah. Found it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Hello.
so going back to kind of this like listening and like evolving, like how has Entr'acte evolved thus far, even in the 4 seasons? Like, what are things that you guys have listened to that has caused you to say, hey, let's try this? And like, what has been the reception? Or have there been things that you've tried and you're like, man, that didn't work. We'll just do something different. You know, what has kind of been the evolution for you guys?
I think the biggest thing that comes to mind immediately is adding the bar line
yes.
experience, because people, actors and patrons were saying to us after the first, and again, what a great problem to have.
Yes.
After the first season, people were like, more, can we have more? Can there be more of these? I mean, it was kind of overwhelming, honestly.
People were like hounding you to like, can I get on the list?
Well,
Yeah.
Where's the list?
It was both sides of the table asking for more. You know, performers were like, this is really fun. I don't have an outlet necessarily like this, challenge like this in my life. And then the other side of it was, we love these performers. So I really credit the people that are willing to come up on our stage, wherever we are, and either do a bar line or a concert, because it is a specific type of challenge, and people that navigate that and that our patrons love to hear and watch are a big part of the success of the whole thing. But
absolutely.
That was it. And then, so we added that the second season. And then it's been about calibrating, well, how many artists are out there that we can like schedule and book, and how does the booking the musicians work? Because everybody has to be willing and able to be completely unrehearsed.
Yeah.
And that's a specific skill set.
Yeah, 100%.
It is.
Yeah.
And another thing, this might be a little tangential, but I do think we are both very vigilant every year when we sit down with the big spreadsheet of who are the roles in these productions, how many bar lines do we have, and you know, we're both very vigilant every season about bringing new people into the fold who have not performed with us yet. At the same time, making sure that there are people we're the sort of mixing bowl, if you will, I think is really important to us. That hopefully we'll never have a season that doesn't have somebody brand new to us.
Yeah.
On that, it might be somebody we've worked with before in other projects, but new to Entr'acte, and that's important to us too.
Yeah, I really do listen when folks reach out and say, I'm interested in this and that. And, you know, we have our little process. It's we don't hold general call auditions, but if somebody that we're not familiar with sends something in, you know, we'll listen to a tape or watch a resume, and we've folded brand new folks in.
We have
that way.
that way. Absolutely.
And even and we're not super like, oh, you have to have certain level of experience. It's really more like, okay, the skill set to musically be ready in 2 weeks or
right,
be
exactly,
unrehearsed or whatever. It's really
so when you were Sarah, you were talking a little bit about like the mix, like how have you guys landed on three shows at these times.
Yeah.
Like how, just logistically, I'm curious. And then the number of bar lines or when those bar lines fit in, like, how do you guys think about that? Or what do you kind of pay attention to with respect to, like, from a business standpoint too?
Mhm. So keeping the audience engaged, and Adam's very fundamental to those choices for us because he has more artistic directing experience than I do. And so figuring that out, and then really honestly folding it into our personal schedules is a part of that as well. But we want it to be sustainable in the sense that that we're not overworking people or having to work to get audiences, and so we're just finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
I think something that's unique about what we do is that it is an event in that more so because we don't have a long run of anything. And some things are spontaneous and only one night,
Yeah.
right? Unrehearsed. So I think that's part of the magic of it.
Yeah, it's that trope of theater being ephemeral and fleeting, and it really is.
It's true. It truly is.
No, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Can I ask you two a question?
Oh.
You were both just in Merrily We
Hey.
Roll Along that we just did. What do you find rewarding about the Entr'acte experience? No bad things, just rewarding.
Oh no, I'm
Wow.
going to tell you
JK,
all of it
JK.
right now. I mean, I think for me, the challenge of and again, like I've had the opportunity to do 2 Sondheims and a Schwartz. So not easy.
Super easy
stuff,
music. Yeah.
But I feel like those types of shows, the challenge of it is like so reward. Like I love sitting down and being like, these harmonies, like, will I ever get them? Or like there's like that piece of it that I think is so rewarding to be able to do because again, as a performer, like you can go and audition, but you may not get cast, right? So like there is that element of like getting to do these types of productions in a very short period of time and like being able to learn the music and being able to really like lean in on that. And then I think, the other piece of it is like the community side of things. So like any production that I've been a part of, like I've loved everybody that we've gotten a chance to work with, and it feels like it's like a boot camp of
It
get
is.
like we've got to
Summer camp, summer boot camp. This is boot camp experience.
Yeah, it's definitely boot camp, not summer stock. Very different.
Yeah.
But there's something about that from just a collaboration standpoint. I mean, obviously having to work with the two of you guys from a production standpoint, but then also really like having conversations with your, fellow castmates on like what's happening here, like what do we want to play with, or in a very short period of time. And so everybody's got to be on their A game. Like you have to be prepared. You have to show up prepared. And there's something that's thrilling about that challenge that I think is really rewarding artistically, versus.
There is some sort of magical biological component that we've tapped into in this 2-week. Oh my gosh, first week is a certain way, the second week is building up, and then you have 2 shows and you're just like, how are we going to do this? And then a lot of times the shows get better throughout even just that one day, and then it's just all done. And there's something kind of magical about, I don't know if it's endorphins or adrenaline or all of it, but like there's a real feel-good quality to that.
Yep, I agree.
That I can't even take credit for. It's something else.
It's a very nice like serotonin boost.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
But I mean, I think, for me, it's absolutely, I think, being a mom and then also working and maybe not having like 4 weeks to devote to a
Or 6
rehearsal
or
process.
8.
Or 8
Right,
or longer. I mean,
exactly.
4 weeks is a short one. So having that, but still being able to kind of get in and play with people that like doing the same thing and kind of scratching that itch. Working on, most of the time it is really difficult music. Like I feel like you guys do a really good job of choosing like fun
The hardest scores.
the hardest scores ever, and then being like, good luck. But it's always really good, rewarding music, and working on that with, and there is something to like the fast, furious, just like getting in, getting it done. It's just rewarding, and it just feels nice to be able to give some of your time, not all of your time, and have this experience without, necessarily having to trade like quality of home life, work life, all of those things as well.
Well, and then I think because I've also been in them. I think for me as a performer, the hybridized experience of, yes, this is a concert, but it's a concert for a very responsive theater-minded audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a performance, like where people are not just singing.
Right.
And
right.
so I think that it juices up that audience interplay and
Yeah. You have different challenges, right? Like, and I think that's the thing that's fun about it. The different challenges being like, we have to be cognizant of mics and stands, and
technical stuff,
binders and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
But then on top of that, still be able to deliver
Engaging.
an engaging performance, right?
Yeah.
Which is, which can be hard with all of those
Sure.
things
There's
layered
a lot of
on. But
things
like, I
going
think
on.
the opportunity there is, again, like flexing your brain for a different, using it for a different
show
muscle.
after show, we watch people really rise and bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
In
Yeah.
spite of all of that.
I also think as a musician, and maybe this is true for people on stage too, I don't know, but that compressed time frame almost makes you more willing to take risks, I think, because it's not going to be 100%
Polished.
quote perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's just with that pressure cooker. I mean, it's not like we're doing 10 of 12s, so that would be for non-theater people, like 10 hours in a 12-hour period of rehearsing.
yeah.
We're rehearsing 3 hours for each of those time periods. So, I mean, it's maybe 30 hours of rehearsal, which is like nothing.
Yeah.
That's what you get to do a staged reading. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
Yeah.
So in equity terms. So in any case, I think that one of the things is there's this almost more of a permission that like, well, people know we haven't been rehearsing for 8 weeks and there isn't all of this like massive scenery and there isn't all of this we have amazing designers who come in and create absolute magic. We have
Truly.
Cole, we have Austin, we have Teresa. And I think that it's amazing that they do it in the time frame they do it too.
That they're willing to do it.
To do it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
But I also think that it gives just more permission to say, let's just try stuff because there's 2 times. There's 2 performances rather, there's so little rehearsal time that we're all relying on each other's, leaning on each other.
Yeah.
And so this is the time.
Play.
This is the time to play. And I think that shows in the
I do
spirit
think that there's like a, even, and I will say, I think on stage we do notice it because I think the band, like, no one over there is like super duper comfortable with, and they know that we're not super duper. So I think that there's just like a level of listening that's not like, oh, this is our 8th show of the week. Okay, let's go. We
It's
know
not on
nobody's
autopilot.
on autopilot.
She's gonna. No one's on autopilot.
you can't
Everyone,
be.
in fact, is very much like,
yeah.
Yeah, buttholes are tight.
yeah, yes.
All around.
Right. And so I think that there's that, like, you guys have an idea of like I feel like you're watching us more intently too. Like, what are they doing? Are they playing? Are they doing something? Oh, they've slowed this part down. So let me just, I will also vamp under that until now that they've decided to. So I think there's very much like a
constant micro adjustments
Right.
from all
Yes.
people.
Yes.
It's so alive.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
very
and
alive.
The more skilled and professional the performers in these situations, the more it grows just between the 2 p.m. and the 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And the more alive it gets. And it's really thrilling for me to watch when I'm not in it, to sit back and watch what happens and go back and look at, okay, well, it's that foundation, right? And it's tricky because it's like, I don't want to give line readings. I don't want to place people like puppets, but you also have to give people enough to stand on firm ground so that then they can make it their own and they can feel secure. And so like finding that balance and then what happens when pros get up there is, I mean, I can't even put words to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the evolution from like the like final dress rehearsal to like the 2 p.m. show
It's
to
huge.
the 6 p.m. show is just like it's massive.
huge.
Like
It
the curve, the
It's
trajectory
straight
curve.
up.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there were just things that I noticed too in this last one, just because, I don't know, because the music's so hard and because with the text and the feelings and the things, that there were just a lot of times where I was like, oh, I can like, oh, the band is like holding for this like piece to be over because for whatever, like maybe they're taking a little more time, or if they've decided like, oh, I found this moment that I really want to like dig into. And I think having the ability to do that without being like, oh, they're not really listening and they're ready to like, run me over at any moment, right?
Yeah.
I think
Right.
it's like a
Well, we've created
Yeah.
an environment, I think, where it is very alive and very responsive.
yes.
And then we've created time, even though we have a shorter performance time.
Sure.
We build in time for that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's very important.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the audience can feel it. I know because I've sit in the audience and I'm an audience member. So you can feel that and it's very engaging.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And not anything we planned for.
No.
It's just
no.
something we've discovered.
That's the thing. I think most of what has happened
Mm-hmm.
are results of things that we hadn't anticipated.
No.
Like over
Yeah.
these 4 years. That's been what's so exciting to me is that you do learn something new with every single time. And
Yeah.
you can
100%.
iterate and
100%.
still continue to tinker and build and get to work on these shows. Like sometimes I feel like it's a little selfish, but I'm like, so many of these shows are well, let me step back for a second and say an entr'acte, for people who don't know, is like the overture to the second act of a musical. So you don't hear them ever anymore in musical theater.
They get
I
cut.
know.
They get cut.
They say
They're
bye.
Old thing. I mean, you
Yeah.
rarely ever even hear an overture anymore.
Yeah.
But an overture to a musical second act, and that's really, to give credit where credit is due, this is also just like Cast Party for Barline. This is a spin-off, certainly with our own tweaks of what they do at City Center in New York with the Encores series.
Mhm.
But Entr'acte is like we are providing a musical in some ways with its second act, quote unquote, right? Because we do a lot of shows that you just don't see anymore,
Right.
or that aren't heard anymore. And I think that is also really fulfilling for me. Like Sarah was like, yes, I'll play this like super intense character in Grey Gardens.
I did not know what I was signing up for.
So good. It was very good.
I mean,
Very, very
there are
good.
very few people, I think, truly that I've ever worked with that would be successful in that way, in that role. And I mean, not just Sarah, the whole cast
It was
was
great.
just like
Yeah.
incredible. And I just never truly thought I would ever get to do that show because it's not commercial.
Yeah.
I would never program
It's
it in
so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I would never program it I mean, I hate saying that because the
so good.
writing is so
It's great.
genius.
The music is
Genius.
really incredible.
All
There'd
of
just
it.
be like 5 weirdos
All
in
of
the
it.
audience.
Yeah. it's
I'd be one of
just-
them.
Right, exactly. It's
Yeah.
just right. It's like that. It's like
Yeah.
you just wouldn't be able to sell it. I
Yeah.
don't think. Maybe they could do it again in New York, but I don't think in a place like Austin.
Yeah.
But Entr'acte is perfect for that. Yeah, that one took a little more than 2 weeks. I mean, we still had our technical 2-week rehearsal period, but we all were looking at it 6 months ahead
Oh,
of time.
man.
Yeah.
A score
Was
study.
Deep
Yeah.
dive.
And that dialect and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think that's another thing that really, I think you and I do really well together is we have this sort of like, I mean, it happened on this last show. We were like, it required a little more musical attention. I mean, you would think that a musical director would know that being Sondheim.
Fine.
But it required a little, so Sarah was like, I can step in and I can do some of what you were going to do as a director. And I think we do that really nicely as we can pick up what each other needs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll come in and choreograph a thing that,
Yes.
so we just, I think we have skills that are very complementary, but also vend really well so that we can dovetail
Well,
for each
and
other.
I think what I've started saying recently, so I'll just say it again here, is that you probably won't see Adam on stage with a binder singing, and you'll definitely never see me in the pit playing a music instrument for a show. But outside of that, we like.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're
Yep.
not watching, she's doing a hand motion that is very intertwined. Thank you.
I love it. Well, I mean, what it sounds like is that you guys are just very open to whatever is coming at you, which I think is like, can be hard, especially with a passion project or something that you feel strongly about, a mission-driven project.
Yeah.
One can get so stuck in like, but this is what I want it to be. And what I'm hearing is that you guys are also very like, we got to listen. We got to listen. We got to pay attention.
Evolve
we got to
with
do our
the-
market research.
Yeah.
We got to, do our due diligence.
And
You know,
every
you're
now and then,
treating it like a business, but with the fluidity of what is necessary for, an artistic endeavor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every now and then we hit something and we're like, hard line, we're not doing that particular thing again. But there's very
Oh, yeah.
there's
that
very
does
few
happen
there's very
sometimes.
few of those.
What's one?
What is one?
Oh, I can say one for sure. And this is from the artistic perspective. A show that is like, I won't mention the show because
Shouldn't
it,
have a
because it was
second act?
very
Is this
successful.
where we're going?
No. I thought this show ended up being very successful, and I know several people who said it's their favorite one that we did.
Oh.
But it was all sung through, and it was all of the music had much harmony.
Oh, I know.
And so like it wasn't like, I mean, yeah, Merrily and Follies and all the Sondheims, obviously Grey Gardens, very difficult, but just not as much to learn in terms of like harmony. So this other production, every song had 800 harmony parts in it.
Yeah.
It was my suggestion that we do it.
Learned.
But I think we said after that it came out great, but it put too much stress on everybody.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
it put too much stress,
including on you as
Yes,
a ranger.
yes,
Like you're
yes.
having to
Yeah.
figure out how to translate that for the amount of voices and instruments that we have.
Yes, exactly.
That's good. It's good learning.
So we knew like in the future if there's just too much harmony
With every
throughout the whole show.
every chorus song has like 5-6 parts in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a totally stacked.
Yeah.
That's good.
We only
Good
want
choice.
we only want good stress on everybody. Like
Yeah.
obviously doing this is always going to be somewhat
There's
stressful.
an element of stress.
Yeah, but that can be the adrenaline kind that can
Yeah.
also be endorphins. We don't want people to leave and be like, "Oh my gosh, thank God that's over."
That was
you
too
know what I
much.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I barely made it out alive.
Right.
Like that. We don't want people
Right.
feeling that
Yeah.
way.
Absolutely. Okay, well, so then when you guys think about what's kind of next for Entr'acte or where you want to go with it, what do you see in the future in your crystal ball?
A 5th season.
Yeah.
Just
That's what
start
we're
there.
already- We have our 4th season. Like we have our titles already locked in and the licenses and everything
Nice.
like that. So
Good.
that's good to go. But I know we're both thinking about what's season 5. How do we do something that is unique and special and still pays homage to everything that we've done? We're making this New Year's Eve. We also have an exciting announcement to make about our Barline series. That'll be part of our reveal. So I think the little infusions of things that keep the tradition going, but that also kind of like, ooh, what are the little touches?
Just re-engagement,
Re-engagement.
or re-up or
Yeah.
That's my
keep it there.
my thought.
Yes.
What about for you?
I agree. Let's see, in our crystal ball. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'll say we've talked about, I don't know that we've talked about this recently, but at one point we talked about some kind of education component where maybe we would do like a week or two program where people who were interested, because cabaret generally, even when you say cabaret to people, like if we say a barline cabaret, people automatically associate that more with burlesque, I think now than they
Yeah, that's
do
true.
where if you were
Well,
in
A
New
lot
York.
of confusion in people's minds about what a cabaret is.
Right.
I'm going to clear it up when I sing at Barline.
there we
Will
go.
I?
Will we go?
Well, I won't.
But I think that, cabaret and song cycles and things like that are something that that just are not done as much
It's a
anymore.
specific skill
It's a
set.
specific
Totally.
skill set and style. And so we have talked about the possibility at some point maybe of implementing like a week or 2 week long cabaret workshop where people could come, we could coach, we
that's
could
cool.
work, even if they're working on their own original things.
Yeah.
And then maybe that would culminate in something kind of the scale of a barline performance.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've
Love
tossed
that.
around in the ether for sure.
And I think folding in up and coming talent or people, working their way through programs and this kind of thing, and supporting that bridge between school and professional
Yes.
work as a
Love
performer.
that.
Like I really love that pocket of space, and working with those individuals. I did think of something while you were talking, and I have lost it now.
This also happens between the two of us.
Oh
Sometimes
my
it's like
God,
that. And sometimes
happens
we're like,
between the
wait,
two
what?
of us.
Oh.
Constantly
Yeah.
chasing.
I might have to circle back when I think of it, but there was something I was thinking of that like an area of crystal ball growth or like, and I can't remember what it. Oh, I know. I got it.
Yay.
I got it back.
I'm excited to hear what this
That
is.
was actually
too.
a really short delay in brain processing for me as for what I'm experiencing lately in my life. But yeah, so partnering. Because Entr'acte is such a like flexible entity, and I say renegade, but it's not. I don't know if it's renegade, but we're just very easy to pick up and move places and do other things. And so, like, we've talked about like partnering with other charities for events that can help raise money for things. We've talked about, we've been approached about partnering with other theater companies and moving into their spaces, and we haven't branched out that far, mainly because of the other things that we both do.
Right.
Making that it's not our only thing that we do on Entr'acte.
Yeah, we've been good about protecting our time, I think. Like this I think we have a good I think that we together are probably a good example in this, at least in Entr'acte world, if you isolate that, of like work-life balance in a way, or about, because we frequently discuss like we need to also look at our limitations and time.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sarah has a son who's going to be a senior in high school. Well, is a senior
He's a junior.
He's a junior
Oh my
this year.
God.
I won't rush it. But like that's something we talked about, like when we made decisions about, well, who's going to direct this or who's going to do this project next year. Besides the other projects we do, then there's the rest of life.
Yeah.
And so
Other types of work.
Other types of work.
Life projects.
Traveling
yes.
for work,
Yeah.
or raising my family, and all of this folds in.
So we're
That's so
not
good.
shy about saying, oh, this
Not
isn't
now.
we are and for other reasons, listening to people too, not just listening to ourselves, but we're doing a couple less bar lines next year because we realized this year we're like, first of all, we don't want to oversaturate what we're doing, but also it was a little too much for us. And we said, what can we do to make that make more sense?
Yeah.
There you go.
So
That's great.
I think that's an important part of what we do too.
Yeah. It's
Even
really
though they're-
important.
On the scale of producing events, Barline is very straightforward and very quick, and
It's so fun.
not something that stresses me out. But in terms of my calendar, it's like,
Right. Well, and I mean, good for you guys also, like, saying yes to everything means that, things get neglected on the back end, right? And we've talked about this a lot, which is like being really clear about whatever the North Star is so that you guys can make sure that this thing stays quality and then it stays, all of those things, right?
It stays joyful.
And then it's something that
Yes.
people are still like, oh, yay, that's fun. I want to do that.
Right.
And
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Can I just say one other thing as sitting here?
Yeah.
First of all, I just love coming to these episodes when we record them every Monday anyway, because I think it was funny because before we started recording today, we were talking about lady leaders. And I think I gain so much as a leader myself by being around really strong women leaders. And so it's always cool. I mean, Kathleen's not here. Obviously, Kathleen is a strong woman leader 100%. As well. But we just have had so many great guests on, and it's just extra special to like be the guy in a room, and learn and osmose. Whatever
Our lady
the verbs
leader
are,
energies.
the lady leader energies.
Yeah.
I just think it's really cool, and it's cool to see. This. We've talked about this project I'm working on a little bit on theater life cycles, and to see the amount of women leaders that are attaining positions in leadership in theaters across the country, in cultural organizations across the country. And I think that that's a really important and amazing shift away from this very, and hopefully further away as we go on, but from this very patriarchal history of leadership. And so it's just cool to, it's one of the things I also love about Entr'acte is that it's not like looking in the mirror and being like, oh, well, it's just working with me.
This dude
You know what I
again.
mean?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. So
looking in the mirror, yes.
And
well,
also.
I think we just have a great simpatico regardless of all and incorporating all of that. And just to give a little shout out, I spend the rest of my time working as an associate artistic director at Austin Playhouse, and that is a female run.
Also run by a lady.
Yep.
We will be interviewing her soon.
Well,
Yes.
she's
Friends.
such a, I look up to her, Laura Toner Haddock, so much, who is the producing artistic director at Austin Playhouse, for her lady leadership and all of the wings that she spreads over there. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you are amazing and give so much
I was gonna
to
say,
so many humans.
he's giving me so much credit, y'all.
With your
He,
own lady wings.
Deserved.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like,
but truly, Adam, like I think
Yes.
I think
Yes.
everybody in this room can say that they've taken
Stellar
a lot
partner.
from you.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
Too.
true.
As a
Stellar,
partner
stellar,
and as
stellar.
a leader.
We just
and-
all work together and weave this tapestry and then hope that it has a
I
life,
do love
something.
it though, because I mean, I know, look, I'm continuing but nope, I'm going to keep going. After Merrily We Roll Along, I think we had a similar conversation with someone that saw it that was like, there's so much talent here. And we've
Mhm.
kind of talked about that and reflected on it. And just like, there is so much talent.
There really is.
There really is so much talent. And there's just not enough avenues. And so I think that, just seeing the need and creating that and then continuing to create, different opportunities for people to showcase
their skills.
is huge. And
or
it's
pick up
so
some
great.
new ones.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yes.
scheduling
Yes.
and whatnot. Like we don't always get the person that we initially think of as the most skilled for a certain
Sure.
thing. And so it's like having that openness to,
Stretch a little
Yes.
bit.
Yeah.
for
You know,
everyone.
Yeah, and everyone. Like all of our musicians are super enthusiastic
They really
and love.
are.
I
But
know.
we
Kind
have
of
one that
incredible.
drives from Abilene
I
every time we
know.
do
So
to play,
sweet.
and it's like one of her favorites. She tells me, one of her favorite things that she does.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that speaks a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Another lady
Positive
leader.
stress.
Another
Yes.
lady leader. Yeah, positive stress. Like
Yeah.
good stress. Stretch.
Stretch, say it fast.
Stress.
Stretch.
Stretch.
There you
Stretch.
go.
It's a
That's a
stretch.
new
Stretch.
warm up,
Stretch.
guys.
It's a new
Everyone
vocal
sounds
warm
like
up.
they have dentures.
Yeah.
Stretch. Stretch.
Well, we love you, Sarah.
Yes.
Yes.
We
Thank
love
you
you,
for
Sarah.
having me. I very much admired and so's presence. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
And
here
I
for
wanted
it.
to ask, do you have a
I do, but you know what? I got this tattoo before we named the company because it means something,
Yes.
I always like to joke that she made us all get them
Branded,
too. She made us.
Like Nexium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This took a turn. Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Horrifying.
Surprise, guys.
Took a turn for the weird.
It's a
She
weird
made us
old
do it.
cult.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But if that gets us ratings.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Hey,
But if
you
you're
know.
into cults,
I will say
Follow
we all
next
have some pretty
week.
badass tats in this
That's
room.
true.
So.
This
We
is
do.
true.
So
This
that's
is
a,
true.
that's a
We like a
unifier.
tattoo.
We like
that's
a
right.
tattoo.
That's right.
That's right. All right. Well, we love you, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us. This was
Yay.
fantastic.
This is so
Thank
fun.
you for having me. Love
Yes.
each of you.
Yay.
And I can't
Mwah.
wait for the December 31st launch.
I
You should
know. It's
reveal.
gonna be
Exactly. And then ATX Musicals is the handle.
ATX Musicals is the handle, and ATX Musicals is our URL. We didn't make it Entr'acte because it has the
spelling and
apostrophe,
the
the spelling. We were like,
French.
so
ATX
sometimes
Musicals.
people just think we're called ATX Musicals.
Yeah.
That's fine too.
Great.
Sure.
Just remember the ATX Musicals part because that's how
Yeah.
you find us
That's how you find
on
them.
the interwebs.
That's
Yes.
right. And then you can also follow Adam and Sarah for more amazing information about what they're doing. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe to the podcast on all channels, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.